we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money and the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. I also want to welcome everybody on Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins, and I am not going to be on here for long, but I just wanted to take a second to talk about Russell Simmons. And I saw that Russell Simmons was trending today on Twitter. So I was popping in on Twitter. My Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1, Dr. Boyce Watkins, and the number 1. If you go to Twitter, you want to follow me there, feel free to do that. And I saw that Russell Simmons was trending with Marc Lamont Hill. And I know Russell and Marc both. I've known them for a long time, and I have some thoughts about Russell and Marc that I thought would be worth sharing. And I'm gonna try to share it in as productive of a way as possible. So anyway, hit the thumbs up button, by the way. If you just came in, please hit the thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe to drboycetv.com if you're black and intelligent. And put your hashtag B1 in the chat. Let me know that you're black first. Hey, is that beautiful RHJ? That's a great name. Nice to see you, beautiful sister. Thank you for hanging out with us today. All right, so let me discuss this. So here's what I saw. So apparently Marc appeared on a show called Drink Champs, hosted by, I think, Noriega, the rapper, and another guy. And he was on there with Talib Kweli and some other people. And I met Talib. He was on Dr. Boyce TV once. And I don't know the other people that were on there. Let me see. Maybe I know them, but I can't remember. But anyway, here's what went down. So basically, Russell Simmons pops in to Drink Champs while they're doing their interview. And, and now Russell is not without controversy. Russell has some accusations against him that are incredibly problematic. He has some accusers that say that he did some things in the 90s that were pretty bad. And if they are true, then it's pretty terrible. So there's no question about that. I don't know anything about it. I don't hang out in the hip hop space. I don't even like to hang out with a lot of celebrities because I don't want to get caught up in stuff that, can just be a little bit strange and awkward later on down the line. But anyway, there were some people that got upset. So a lot of the alphabet boys, meaning LGBT, as well as feminist groups, Black Lives Matters groups, really took issue with the fact that Russell even appeared, that Russell was even speaking at this event or at this gathering. And so that was interesting. So I saw what they were saying, and I always thought it was kind of unfortunate. I mean, when you're really talking about, if we're really talking about sort of, understanding the plight of the black man, I'm hoping that we'll understand how it feels as a black man to know that you can be accused of anything by anybody and people are going to just believe it just because you're a black man, and people believe that anything that a black man can do, or people believe that anything a black man is accused of, he must be guilty, right? That's really, really a stressful light to live under. And so anyway, one of the reasons I wanted to jump in this conversation and add some perspective is I saw that Marc made an interesting statement. Now, I've known Marc for a long time. I've known him since 2007. I remember Marc called me when I lived in Syracuse, and he was asking me how to get on TV and stuff like that. And it's not that I'm responsible for getting him on TV or anything, but I told him what I knew. And he's a hustler. I mean, he's a hustler, and he's brilliant. He went out there and he made it happen. I was so happy to see him succeed. But we don't see eye to eye. We disagree a lot. I don't know if he considers me to be his friend or not, but I've always said if I talk about a man on this platform, he's always welcome to call me. So if Marc has another point of view, he has my phone number. He can call me. I would certainly answer that call. Here's what Marc wrote on Twitter, and I'm gonna read it, and then I'm gonna give you some context because I feel it's important to kind of have different voices weighing in on this discussion so we can be fair. So Marc says, a few weeks ago, I appeared on Drink Champs, and I was asked to join a discussion with Bun B, Talib Kweli, and My Son. I guess My Son's another rapper. I don't know much about My Son. I know I met Bun B and I met Talib Kweli, but I don't know My Son. About 2.5 hours into the show, Russell Simmons appeared. I had no idea he was scheduled. I would never have appeared if I had known. So Marc Lamont Hill, he's on BET, he basically says, I never would have appeared if I'd known Russell Simmons was going to be there. I didn't know that this was going to happen. I don't like that statement at all. I don't like that statement at all because Russell hasn't been convicted of anything, and I just really think we have to figure out, where's the line? Like, I'm not saying Russell's innocent. I can't declare his innocence. I don't know what he does in the bedroom. I have no idea. But to just sort of declare his guilt and to decide you want to ostracize him, that's just some bullshit. That's not right. You can't do that to people. I know that you get mad. I know that it's not fair that there are so many people that get away with shit they shouldn't get away with. But, when we allow these witch hunts to occur, it's just really dangerous, and it's just not cool at all. And I don't think Marc had to make that statement. And the reason the statement kind of triggered me a little bit was at least twofold. First, I'll say this. As I said, I've known Marc since 2007. That's when I met him. He's my friend. We've hung out, on many occasions, and I still don't dislike Marc. I will never. I just don't emotionally. I'm not going to get to the point where I just hate somebody. I don't care what things you might have said about me. I would help him if he needed my help. And I know how smart he is, and I know that we don't see eye to eye. Russell, I worked with Russell. I don't know Russell as well as I know Marc, but I worked closely with Russell in 2013 when he and I did a campaign on mass incarceration, where we wrote a letter to the Obama administration, and I got the scholars to sign it. He got the celebrities to sign it, from Will and Jada to Justin Bieber to Chris Rock. All these celebrities signed this letter, and a lot of people don't know this, but it's important he gets credit for this. That led to Eric Holder, the Attorney General at the time, making one of the most significant announcements on mass incarceration in history. Like, they literally changed the face of criminal justice in this country as a result of this letter. And to be honest with you, it was Justin Bieber's tweet that set it off. I know that's crazy, but I have to tell you facts on this. So the reason that comment triggered me was also because in 2013 I did a panel in Brooklyn that was called A New Paradigm for Black America: Wealth, Education, Family, and Community, A New Paradigm for Black America. We did about 3 or 4 of these. I did one with Minister Farrakhan, one with Cornel West, and Marc was invited to that one. That was in Brooklyn. One with Dr. Steve Perry out in D.C. and Eton Thomas. And so we were at this thing, and I remember we were planning the panel. And here's what happened. So I put together the panel, and I just called people and said, "Oh, you'd be great for the panel." Dr. Christopher Emden and some other people. And I didn't realize, and this was my inherent bias as a man, I didn't realize that the panel was all men. If I thought about it, it would have, I would have realized my mistake. But here's the thing, right? I can't excuse that, right? I accidentally picked a panel that had nothing but men on the panel, and somebody pointed that out, right? Dr. Boyce and Marc Lamont Hill doing this panel that's got nothing but men, and women have been excluded. And I was kind of like, damn, I can't believe I did that. And I was willing to kind of make adjustments. But I remember before I was even able to address the disparity, Marc issues this statement like, I believe there should be women on this panel. And if Dr. Boyce doesn't put women on the panel, I will not participate. And I remember thinking, damn, nigga. I'm sorry, excuse me, I didn't mean to, but I was like, shit, man, like, did you have to come out and make your statement before we talked about it? Like, maybe you could have came to me. I had no problem putting a woman on the panel. I kid you not. I remember I had my manager at the time. She didn't like being bullied into changing the panel, right? And so we argued about that. And I was like, no, they're actually correct. The feminists, some of the extreme feminists are crazy. Let's keep it 100. Some of them are too demanding. Some of them just hate men because inherently they hate their daddies. Like, a lot of them hate men because they hate their dad. Like, if you really want to understand the mind of an extreme, nasty feminist, go ask her about her father, and I guarantee you that at least 7 to 8 times out of 10, she hates the shit out of her daddy. That's where that comes from. Imagine if we had a whole society of men who hated their mothers, how they would treat women. Seriously, think about this. Oh, these guys are running around talking about, we don't love them hoes. Well, that comes from the fact that they hate their mama. Their mama was the original hoe they did not love. They did not love them. So the hoe don't love me, so I don't love the hoe back, right? So some of them are butt naked crazy. I'm just gonna lay it out there and keep it 100 with y'all. But sometimes they are right. Sometimes they're right. And in this case, they were right because, so many of the most brilliant people in our community happen to own vaginas too, right? And as men, sometimes we're the dummies. Sometimes we don't get it right. And I've never felt as a community we can move forward without acknowledging, the capability and brilliance of the black woman, right? That's a critically important part of our community. So adding a woman to the panel was not an issue for me. Like it was totally fine. But I was like, I did not understand why Marc had to issue this statement. Like, what is going on with the grandstanding, bro? Like, why can't you call me and tell you? We talk about it first, and then we go and talk about stuff publicly. And that's really kind of how, I have other friends, other guys that I kind of talk to on a regular basis, and that's how we do stuff. That's why that's kind of where I grew up with my father. My dad was always a guy that's like, look, you ain't got to put a brother on blast. Just handle it. Handle the situation, but you ain't got to go put people on blast until it's necessary, right? That's why I'm friends with Willie D and David Banner and people like that. It's because we talk about stuff, or Jay Morrison and Sharif Abdul Malik, like we'll figure it out. And then we talk about things in public. Whereas some people just blast things in public and it just, So I didn't like that. I'm just going to tell you the truth. I thought it was just kind of unfair. We did add women to the panel. It was a great event. Marc came, he did a great job. I was appreciative, but I did not feel comfortable with sort of being blasted like that, right? So when I saw Marc blasting Russell Simmons, like if I had known Russell was coming, I would not have been there. I was like, man, like why you're still doing this? Like, come on, man, you don't have to do that. You could just maybe say I don't agree, or you could have remained silent, or maybe you could have said something, but maybe said something a little, it's still important to make sure that, we remember that people are innocent until proven guilty, or does innocence until proven guilty not apply to black men? Does that not matter? Are black men guilty till proven innocent? If that's if that's what it is, then tell me that that's what the fuck it is, so I can know what I'm dealing with. Like seriously, are we? Yes or no, guys? Give me a yes or no. Should we live in a world where black men are guilty till proven innocent? That if anybody shows up and says that black man did it to me, like all those Beckys that accuse black men of crimes that they committed themselves, does that make the black man guilty? Give me a yes or no. Are black men just guilty till proven innocent? Maybe that's the case. I think that's the memo white people have been sending you. That's why, as a black man, you have been labeled as a criminal since birth. That's why black males with no criminal record get fewer job opportunities than white men with criminal records, right? So we know society labels you as a criminal, even when you prove that you're not. But, does that same energy have to apply to our own community? And let me tell you one other reason why Marc's comment triggered me a little bit. Again, this is not me defending Russell Simmons and what he did. I don't know what this man did in the 90s. When I saw him on a video where he talked about how in the 80s they would fly into a country and look for the pussy and the cocaine. And that type of stuff I've told you guys. I've told black men in general, like, be careful about that shit. Run around with random ass women and getting into drugs and all that stuff. Like, that ain't nothing but trouble, man. That's the easiest way for you to get popped and taken out and put in prison and destroyed, is for you to run around getting high and drunk all the time, because you cannot fight the battle of a black man while you are incapacitated. You cannot be a good black soldier when you are not alert. That's why I love the Nation of Islam so much, is because they understand this. They understand that a black man is at war, and when you are at war, you cannot be high and drunk all the time when you are at war. That's why they mass market music to black men that teaches them to sit around high and drunk all the time, because that's how they pick you off. That's how they tackle you and get you and put their knee on your neck and strangle you to death in public. That's how they pop you in the back when you try to run away from the cops, is you high and drunk, right? So I'm just telling you straight up, point blank period, my opinion is all of that stuff, all that culture that they're mass promoting to you, that's you're not going to win with that ever. But so with Russell's admission to the lifestyle that he embraced in the 80s, 90s, and beyond, whenever it was, I never agreed with that. I only knew Russell as a man from the time I worked with him in 2013. And in that time, when we were working on mass incarceration, I can fully testify that he was an honorable man. He followed through. I don't trust celebrities when they make promises, because they lie. He did not lie. He said, I will call these people. I will make it happen. He did. He followed through. When Valerie Jarrett got on the phone and started trying to threaten him and pressure him and all this other stuff, he stood strong. I love that. I respect that. And he deserves credit for that, no matter what happened in the past. But here's the thing. When you talk about what Russell might or might not have done, you have to understand if we're going to ever get to the bottom of any accusations or anything like that, and you were really seeking truth, we have to look at the accusers as much as we look at the accused. I just believe that. Because just because you're the accuser, that does not mean that you have a get out of jail free card for any indiscrepancies that might exist in your past. And I know that it does not fit pre-existing political narratives that you've been fed through media, but there are black journalists with the National Black Journalists Association who have done background reviews of some of the individuals that were accusing Russell, particularly a person by the name of Silai Abrams, Sillai, Silai Abrams. Silai Abrams, I know Silai, not as well as I know Marc, but I know her better than I know Russell. I have spent hours on the phone with Silai. I have sat down and had dinner and lunch with Silai and talked to her for a long time. I do not hate Silai Abrams. I do not dislike her. I have nothing against her. But if you want to know, think about this. If you want to know why I, as a single black man at the time, could sit across the table from a drop-dead gorgeous woman and never make a move, it was because I picked up things on Silai's personality that let me know that she would be a difficult, unstable person to engage with. That was the opinion that I had. That was my opinion at the time. I'm not trying to say anything bad about her or anybody else. I'm only even sharing this because I feel like we have to have this thing called fairness. And I don't think that in a politicized environment, people are very fair. I think people believe what they want to believe and they run with it. But I'm going to sit here and tell you, I have talked to Marc extensively. And I when I talk to people, I look them in the eye. I think if any of y'all have ever met me at an event, you'll know when you're talking, I look at you and I'm staring at you and I'm analyzing every word that's coming out of your mouth. I'm analyzing your body language. I'm looking at everything. And I'm not a stupid man. And I've talked to Marc extensively. I've talked to Russell extensively. I've talked to Silai extensively. And I will just say that I don't believe Silai's accusation. I don't believe it. I believe that there is more to it. I believe that I know that she had a book she was trying to promote, that she's been trying to promote for the longest time. I don't doubt that at some point maybe she was in some bad situations and had some bad things happen, because she's a traumatized person, and I don't know who traumatized her, but I do know that there's a credibility factor that nobody ever talks about, and I just kind of feel like that's not fair, So I don't even know if this sounds like I'm attacking anybody one way or the other, but I'm not attacking Marc, because I told you Marc can always call me and I'll talk to Marc. I'll talk to Marc anytime. Russell, I don't talk to Russell anymore, but Russell could call me, and it's a lie. She could even call me, and I would these are things I would say to anybody. And I just think that in general, Marc's statement in a way was kind of throwing Russell under the bus in a way that he didn't have to be the guy to do it. He didn't have to throw him under the bus. I think there's enough people out there that want to throw Russell under the bus. And I think that after he's convicted by a jury of his peers, then maybe you can, then all bets are off. You can do what you want to do. But even for a black man, getting convicted by a jury of your peers doesn't happen at all anyway, because most of your juries are white regardless, right? So this is a complex thing. And I personally think as black people, we have to figure out our own way of approaching situations like this and narratives like this without allowing white people to tell us how to think. So that's my 2 cents on it. I don't know how it's going to be taken by anybody. I just know that I felt compelled to speak my truth on this issue as a person who knows all the characters that are involved in a lot of this. And I just think it ain't right. I think if Russell wants to come in, despite what he's been accused of, everybody, I'm sure if you went back in anybody's past and asked every enemy they ever had to make it, if they have any accusations to make against that person, everybody would have accusers, including Silai. I'm sure somebody, if you go back in her life 20, 30 years, somebody will accuse her of something illegal, right? So I think that this whole idea of being able to, to throw accusations at people from 25, 30 years ago, come on, man. How stupid is that? That's just fucking ignorant. Seriously, it's about the most ignorant shit I've ever seen, and I'm not going along with any of it because it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. So that's what I believe. That's my 2 cents. Are you calling Mark a Sambo? No, I'm not calling him a Sambo. I'm just saying I don't agree with him, and that's I want to make sure that's clear, because I don't think everything he does is all bad. I don't. But some of the stuff I don't understand. I will confess to that. I don't understand some of the stuff, and this I don't understand. So he gave his opinion. I gave mine. That's what it is. We agree to disagree. That's life. All right, guys, do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Also, join us on Black Movie Night. We're doing Black Movie Night on the 25th. We're going to watch the film The Black Love Blueprint. We shot that in Brooklyn. Award-winning director Dorian Chandler is going to join us. It's totally free, totally free, totally free. So if you'd like to participate and help us to build a black-owned movie industry where we're supporting black filmmakers, show up at blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net, but you got to RSVP in advance. So blackmovienight.net, not .com, .net. All right, guys, have a good day. Thanks for listening. See you soon. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr.